Somebody was asking me, what is a good book to read? And I am probably the worst person you should ever ask that question of, because I love reading, and so there are a lot of books here. But we'll just start with something good. Well, I don't know how you guys feel. Shakespeare doesn't always do it for me, but Henry V, you want to read about the Battle of Agincourt? No, that's a pretty good story. The English weren't supposed to win that fight, but somehow they did. And if you want to read a good book, Shakespeare, Henry V, highly recommended. What it won My Kingdom for a Muse of Fire. Next we got A Time to Stand by Walter Lord. There are many different books. 13 Days of Glory, About the Alamo. You can read any of them, really. I guess they're all pretty good. Three Roads to the Alamo is pretty good as well. Right there, sorry. Love It, really good book. The Alamo is here in San Antonio. I don't know if anyone ever noticed, but the schoolhouse is kind of shaped in the shape of the Alamo. And many Cone's dreams and desires have died there, so it kind of seems fitting it should be here. So if you get a chance to come to San Antonio, go to the Alamo. Great place. It's all run by donations, so if you throw a couple bucks in, that'd be pretty good. Really like this book, Soldiers of God. Talks about Islamic warriors in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Mainly deals with how the 80s and 90s affected us today, and how the battles we're fighting now are battles we should have or could have fought earlier. But really good book. Gives you a layout of everybody. Tells you about Ahmad Shah Massoud. This guy, another book on the history of Afghanistan. Amazing book. Really good. Really like it. If anybody knows the story, he died 2 days, they attempted to assassinate him 2 days before 9/11. They blew him up pretty good, and he ended up dying on 9/11. But that was their plan: is they were going to take him out and then take us out, and then they would own Afghanistan. They didn't know they had awakened the sleeping giant. So you want to be a leader? Pretty good book. The Trident: Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader. I like it. There's a lot of good SEAL books out there. If you just want to read for fun, the original was it SEAL Team 6 by Richard Marchenko. I forget what it was called, but it was pretty funny. It had all that over the top Rambo kind of SEAL stuff that we grew up on. I'm not saying that they don't do pretty amazing things, but there's no reason you don't have to build it up. You just tell the truth, and the story's good enough. Black Hawk Down. I'm sure everybody's seen the movie. You can watch the movie. The books always been really important to me. Randy Gordon and Gary Shugart, when they got off that helicopter, they knew they weren't coming back, but they got off, and so that was always a motivation for me in the pool, in the water. Not just that people would do that. They don't really know somebody, or even if you do, say you do know the person, how many of you would die for your friend? That's a hard question to ask, and some people, maybe they're not worth dying for, but a lot of people are, I believe. Count of Monte Cristo. Got to read your classics. Classics Tale by Alexander Dumas. It's all about revenge, but in the end, there's more to life than revenge. Let's see, Ranger Handbook. Learn it, love it. There are rules to live by. I wonder if I'm breaking some kind of copyright by showing you. Well, this is just like reading it, somebody else. But I always loved rule number 1 from Rogers Rangers, which is, don't forget nothing. So that's what you gotta do. Though I be the last survivor, I will continue my mission, If you come in the military, you gotta read Catch 22. It will explain a lot of the weird and crazy things that we do. People's History of the United States. You got to read it because Good Will Hunting said so. And everybody loves Matt Damon. So I love Matt Damon. I like him. I like him and Ben. I think Ben will be all right for Batman, so everybody can just relax a little bit. The Power of One. I don't know if anybody ever saw this movie. Came out in the 80s. Great book. The book's even better. This is what I read when I was a student. Little defeat big when little smart. Wait, what did it say? Dang it. I just messed that up. I used to have this beautiful quote. Yeah, messed it up. Too bad. Oh yeah, that was right. Little defeat big when little smart. Something about you defeating the brain with the heart. Man, I hadn't thought about that. I just kind of I grabbed all my, well, not all my books, but I grabbed a bunch of books and I didn't realize how kind of monumental it kind of was to begin with. So, Lawrence of Arabia, very good. Yeah, I used to have a lot of books. I used to have his 3 Pillars of Wisdom, and I lent it out and never got it back. That's a bummer. Stephen Pressfield, The Afghan Campaign. This deals specifically with Alexander the Great in Afghanistan and how much trouble he had with it and why people have been fighting for that place for 1,000 years and nobody's ever going to win there. Malcolm Gladwell. Anything by Malcolm Gladwell, get it. Outliers is pretty good. Show's really good. They're all good. I can't even... his other book, David and Goliath. I have that on audio. Yeah, there it is. Audio and on, the readable, legible form. Not a Good Day to Die. The story of Operation Anaconda. That was not one of my better days. Kind of bummed. But yeah. Dean Koontz, Fear Nothing. Some of these books I put just so you can see, how to be, maybe, You don't necessarily have to read a book to figure it out. Well, I mean, this book you did, but like Troublesome Young Men, if you get a chance to read it, old Winston Churchill was a ornery, I guess, booger, is what you might call him. Good book on thought process and pre-World War II world and the way everybody looked at stuff and how, unchecked